Hey guys, I'm Rix here, and today I'm coming back at you with another haul video. Today we're going to be looking at some Brickmania figures, which I do acknowledge normally do come in the plastic packaging that you guys see, but this is a super old haul, and I've bought so many of these Civil War minifigures and Civil War adjacent minifigures that I always get rid of those packages essentially immediately as the haul comes in. And since I'm filming this video so far after I got the haul, I don't have those plastic packs that the figures normally come in. So that's why they're in this bag. I also have a huge number of new Brickmania Perfect Caliber and printed pieces, so why don't we jump into it. I'll dump it out first, right in front of you, just so you guys can see everything. Here is the haul of minifigures. I believe that it is 9 of the 1st Minnesota Regiment, made famous at the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's 9 of those figures. And then I also have in this bag a bunch of the Perfect Caliber Springfield muskets, and then some of the 3D printed kepis that Brickmania recently came out with. So why don't we dive into this figure? I know that I've shown it off a few times, but for anybody that's new, I feel like a quick overview could be helpful. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, we have our minifigure on our little stand here, and what you can see is on the front of him, he has regular straps with the eagle on his buckle right here, and then he also has the US belt buckle, because of course this is a Union soldier who was fighting on the side of the United States. He was not fighting on the Confederate side. He also has this, I believe it's a shamrock, or maybe something else, some other symbol, but this was essentially the representation, I believe, of the corps that the 1st Minnesota was actually a part of, or the brigade. I can't remember which army level. I think that this was the corps. I think this was to represent the corps that they were a part of as part of this Gettysburg campaign. Also on the front here, you can see that he has his cap little pouch right here. So this is for the firing caps on your musket. You would have to put one right here beneath the hammer. So that's a little pouch to carry those. Now, if we lift his arms up, we continue around the sides. On the side, you can see he has his ammo pouch, so that would carry all of his cartridges. And then on the back, he also just has another kind of bag, probably carrying other stuff for the battle. And then he also has his canteen and a bayonet. I have to say the only thing on this minifigure that, I'm not really sure that I like is this bayonet, because if you bend their legs, the bayonet becomes, it just moves out of place and it doesn't look really proper anymore. So that's why generally I'm not a big fan of printing stuff like a bayonet onto the legs, but I do understand why you did it, because of course you're looking to get that high level of accuracy, so I can see that. Now, important to note is that Brickmania does not print on the inside of legs like other companies do. It would be nice if they started doing that, but I do think in the past, Dan, who's the owner of Brickmania, has mentioned that in order to produce the quantities that they produce, they do not print on the inside. I don't know if that's a good excuse or if that's a good reason, because there are other companies that produce the same number, if not more numbers of minifigs than Brickmania does. Then again, Brickmania also produces kits. So, I guess this is just essentially a streamlining manufacturing process, because of course, if you do want to put on the inside of legs, you actually have to, I swear these guys always fall down. If you want to put on the inside of the legs, you have to take them off of the hips, because otherwise you can't print properly. So that's definitely a limiting factor of the minifigure. Then of course, if we get up to the face, he has just kind of a generic face. I seriously probably have like over 50 of these heads now, because I have so many of these 1st Minnesota minifigures. So I don't really know what to do with all those heads. They're all the same. As I've said in the past, in very, very old videos, it would be nice if Brickmania randomized the head that you got with some of their minifigures, because if you're army building, it would be nice to, be able to have that variation. Even if, there was just like 2 or 3 different options that you could select, it would be nice to get that variation. Then the final thing that we have, if the camera will focus on it, is we actually have that 3D printed kepi up here. And what's so nice about this one is it actually has the 1st Minnesota letters written out on the top, and then the belt buckle is also painted in kind of a gold or brass color. And then also the side I guess it would be buttons are printed, or I think it might be painting. Actually, I don't know if it's printing. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is either printing or painting, and I'm not entirely sure which one. One thing that I think would be nice to add to this would be if they actually painted this strap black or brown or some other color to represent kind of like a leather, because oftentimes that could be seen around the base of a kepi cap. So really nice minifigure overall. As I said, I have over 50 of these, so at least I think I have over 50. I have a lot, you know, I don't necessarily count the number of minifigures I have all the time, but this is a great minifigure that I think, you know, if you're into this time period of history at all, or if you're just into collecting really cool historical minifigures, I think this one is definitely worth it. Now here, what you can see is the perfect caliber that it comes with. I also got a bunch of the perfect calibers over here, so we'll dump those out in front of the camera in a second for you guys to see. But it's a fairly simple perfect caliber. It's just a musket with kind of like some wood grain printing. You can see towards, I guess, the stock of it right here, and then just printing along what the parts would be metal. I think the nice thing about this perfect caliber is, if you can see, it's actually printed on the top and then kind of printed on the bottom as well. So those kind of wrap around printings of the metal actually wraps around, which I think is a really nice feature of this perfect caliber. So all in all, I think probably one of my favorite Brickmania minifigures. As I mentioned in previous recent haul videos from Brickmania, this design might not come back in terms of a new minifigure because Lando is gone, and of course this guy was designed by Lando. So, you know, I hope to see more Civil War minifigures in the future. I don't know if we're gonna get them, but I am hopeful. So, you know, I'm always keeping an eye out for them. So why don't we take a look at the bag of perfect caliber and 3D printed parts now. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I've opened the bag in front of you, and why don't we get all these elements dumped out right here. One thing that is nice about Brickmania is that they never, you know, cut you short or skip on the freebies. So we have a free Star Wars type blaster in this trans green type color. I also got another sci-fi style blaster, I believe. I think this is actually Star Wars as well, in kind of like a dark orange color. Then I got another one of, I think, what is another Star Wars blaster, this time in kind of like a trans bluish color. And then I believe that there's one more, yes, here. We also got looks like an M1911 in a trans red. So as you can see what we have here, I think there's like 40 or so, or 50 of these Springfield muskets. I needed a bunch of them to outfit my Fig Fab Labs and TMC minifigures that are from the Civil War era, because obviously nobody else has actually produced something like this, and I personally prefer to have all of my minifigures to have at least a perfect caliber, if not an overmold. And then also what I got is these 3D printed parts, which is just a non-printed or non-painted version of this guy right here. If we can see it, it's just, you know, it's not as printed or anything like that. I think I actually turned up my lights, so maybe it's a little bit brighter, maybe it's a little bit easier to see right now, but you know, it's a nice little 3D printed piece. I got a few of them because I just wanted to try it out, but you know, I do really enjoy a lot of Brickmania's 3D printed pieces. But other than that, there's not a lot else to add to this haul. I guess I can move all of the minifigures into the frame here, if I can even fit them. And here you can see the entirety of the haul. So it was a decent sized haul, I think, if we zoom out a little bit. But, you know, it's all of the same figure. It's all towards my army building goal. So that's kind of where I was going with this haul when I was thinking of getting all of these things. Other than that, I don't think there's anything really else for me to add, other than to say, if these ever come back in stock and you don't have them, you should definitely get them, at least one of them. They're a great minifigure for a collection. They're a great minifigure to have. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to add. So as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe to other normal stuff, and I'll catch you next time.